Today Underground Television moves upstairs.
Welcome to Stu Basement Tapes.
I'm Matt Robertson.
And I'm Damira Davletiaro.
And we're coming at you from the CBC studios in Fredericton, New Brunswick.
This is the top stories for this week. New Brunswick government unveils a budget today. Student union elections results and its controversies.
Artist response for tragic events in Darfur. Also, special sports edition with Jillian Watts. Today, the New Brunswick government will unveil the budget. With the economic downturn, there have been rumors of deficits and what the Graham government will be doing to deal with that. Melissa Waugh was downtown to keep in touch with the government. Melissa.
Well, the legislature is set to open at 2 p.m. this afternoon, so that means we won't hear Finance Minister Victor Boudreau's budget until about 3 or 4 this afternoon.
So Melissa, tell me about what happened at the legislature today.
Well, last week it was leaked that the government and New Brunswick could be taking on approximately $800 million deficits with this upcoming budget. But Conservative MLA Bruce Fitch has attacked this so-called leak, saying that it's just a media tactic to keep bad press away from the budget the day that it comes out. As far as what else we can expect, there's been word from the Human Resource Minister that civil servants will be taking a 2-year freeze to their wages. This will affect everyone from highway workers, high school secretary, nurse managers, and park rangers, just to name a few. Even the court system is expected to take a hit in this budget, Matt. The Law Society of New Brunswick said they had a meeting with Justice New Brunswick last week and were told that the Court of Appeals is facing being cut. Tim Christie, an official from the society, said this would put an extra 2,000 court cases on the already backlogged Queen's Bench.
Can you give us any details on what to expect from this budget?
Yep, there is good news for seniors of the province. It is expected that the low-income seniors benefit could go from $200 a year up to $400 a year by 2011. This is a program used by elderly people in the province making under $15,000 a year, and most of them live at home by themselves. Matt, it's hard to say what we can expect once the budget comes down. The Leader of the House, Minister Murphy, says that he doesn't expect that it should be too difficult and that it won't last another 79 days like last time. But Leader of the Opposition, David Alward, says that he will be opposed to anything that doesn't help the economy in New Brunswick, and that all the Liberals are going to leave as a legacy of debt and incompetence. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how much debate comes out of this budget.
This was Melissa Waugh in downtown. From city government to student government, universities across Maritimes are electing new student union members. The St. Thomas campus held its election just before the spring break. And despite the snow day pushing back the voting, many students came out to take part in.
There's never really been a huge amount of voter turnout, but this year actually seems to be a lot of participation, which is a good thing.
Some of new members elected for next year include Mark Hennick as a president, Ella Henry as vice president education, and Gemma Marr as vice president student life. Also, Corbin McLean will be returning for his second term as vice president administration. But this election result still raises doubts and controversies. As the student union at St. Thomas University is recounting the ballots, Bailey White is here to explain why.
This wasn't a simple numbers problem. 2 people ran for Students' Union President, Mark Hennick and Craig Mazerow. Hennick won by 47 votes, but right off the top there was trouble with this count. Mazerow says that many of the ballots had his name cut off. You couldn't read Craig Mazerow. All you could see was Azerol. And the so-called Azerol ballots were deemed spoiled. There were 42 spoiled ballots in all, and we don't know how many of those were the Azerol ballots. There are also reports that Craig Mazerow, his name was obstructed in other ways, that the bottom of his name was trimmed off, so you could make it out, but it wasn't exactly fair. And basically, he just wanted to know if that gave Hennick an unfair advantage.
So what are the recount results?
Well, the recount happened on Friday, and Hennick is still the winner. The chief returning officer, Ryan Baxter, went back and they counted all the ballots again. This time they counted the Azerol ballots, and there was only 18 spoiled ballots overall. 14 of those were either spoiled because neither or both candidates were selected, and four were lost in the process of counting somehow. That's not been clear to us. What we do know is that Hennick still had a 44-vote lead, so he's the president. Back to you.
Thanks, Bailey. We've actually received an update on this story. Craig Mazerol is appealing the election results, so we will not know the outcome until later this week. A painting session at the New Brunswick College of Craft and Design was about more than just art. It was about awareness. It was called It Feels Good to Paint for Darfur. Invited artists to create their own responses to what's happening in Darfur. Dipping into their creativity, artists painted on canvas provided by the school. And a documentary on Darfur reminded them why they were doing it. Mallory Driscoll said she came to paint for a good cause. She said this African plain is an expression of the troubled darkness she sees happening in Darfur.
I guess it's mostly in here, and it just kind of comes out through here or something.
The event was part of a bigger project with feelsgood.ca, a local art collective. The final products will be presented at an art show along with multimedia and music performances on March 16th. In connection with the Human Rights Society at St. Thomas University, these events are a preview for the annual Human Rights Lecture.
This is a little peek in what's coming up in next show.
Next week on The Basement Tapes. A bill in the House of Commons to toughen animal cruelty laws is causing trouble in New Brunswick. Animal rights activists say the bill is long overdue, but farmers say the proposed laws could jeopardize their freedom to raise livestock.
We are talking here about pets, not livestock, not something that is your business, that is your family farm. That's a whole different issue, and they should be able to do as they're allowed to do under...
Stay tuned.
We'd like to have them back, please, if they do take them out.
As the Stu community tries to become more environmentally friendly, students are wondering why the cafeterias continue to use styrofoam plates.
Tune into the next episode of Basement Tapes for the first of a two-part series on video gaming, the culture behind it, and whether or not it's addicting. Now if you'll excuse me.